He said, Kay, do you know that when I wake up in the morning, before I do anything, I say to myself, how can I make this day easier or better for Khadeen? Mm-hmm. And when he told me that, I was almost in tears because I'm like, shit. When I wake up, it's just like, it's like, I don't. I think about who needs what deadline to be met, you know, what kid has what appointment, and who's on the bottom of that totem pole. The one person who sole purpose is to make sure and deserves to make sure that, you know, I should be making sure that he's okay.
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? What it is, what it ain't, what it could be, what it should be, what it would be. Cam Newton the song, Mr. Boogie the All, and I'm here to give real good content for the masses and a promise to keep it funky for your asses. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, what I have or what I present to you today is 20 years of marriage. A unit that's talented beyond belief. We got authors, we got producers, we got a mom, we have a man, a husband. We have all the above in this society that they've thrived on, and it's thrived off of brutal honesty. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to some and introduce to others, Devale and Khadeen.
What's good, bro?
Man,
what's good, bro?
How are you? I need to take you along with us so you can intro us everywhere we go.
Say that shit. You know, I send an invoice now. I don't got no problem with doing that.
Hey, I understand the business side of things.
Yeah,
You gotta get paid. You gotta get paid for your talents.
So, Devale, this is our second time talking.
Yes.
And Khadeen,
Yes.
this is our first. But this is something that we all know about. And I would like to call you guys top 5, and I ain't talking about 5, really a running for the couple of the culture.
Oh, wow.
We don't talk about that.
That's deep.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, tell me who would fit that running.
Couple of the culture. That would be hard for us because we hate the whole couple goals thing.
Yeah, so we don't even look at ourselves.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you know the aesthetic that, you know, my thing is, my parents have been together for 38 years. Mm-hmm. And my mom would always tell me, she says, the difference between this day and age of love and the old time love is, old time, we were looking for every reason to stay. Mm-hmm. This day and age, they looking for every reason to leave.
That's deep.
You see what I'm saying?
That's actually really accurate when I think about it.
So if I have to think about that, I would have to say, of course, Barack and Michelle. Mm-hmm. You know, Barack held the highest office in the land. Mm-hmm. Michelle is extremely intelligent, law degrees. She's a celebrity in her own right, not for just being Barack's wife. I would have to go with them. Of course, it would be easy to say Jay-Z and Beyonce, two of the most influential people.
That's for me.
Yeah, two of the most influential people in our culture.
Who have also had their issues, their fair share of issues. Like, I think that people try to pursue this idea of what this perfection looks like for a couple. Right. And within their own right, all those imperfections has made it perfect for them. So to say that, for example, her Lemonade album was about him cheating on her.
Infidelity.
Right.
Infidelity.
That was her number one song.
That was her number one song, and people love that. You know.
That's true. I would have to go with Denzel and Pauletta. They've been together for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And she run the show too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I met them multiple times and she's just so, I didn't know they was from Carolina.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's just a strong force, man. I know that. But I'm gonna tell you the issue that's happening because I have the same issue. Who's a millennial that's the couple of the culture?
Ooh.
I mean, a lot of people love Sierra and Russell. A lot of people love them, you know, so I guess if we listen to the streets, if we listen to social media, they would have to be up there.
On what's presented?
On what's presented, I guess, yeah.
Sterling K. Brown and his wife.
Yeah, Sterling K. Brown and Ryan, they just, Ryan, they just been killing it.
Right, both in their own right.
But is he a millennial? Because he's 40, he's in his mid-40s, and I think Ryan is too.
I was taking a couple years off.
Yeah, Sterling. But
I guess that's a difficult question.
I guess that is a difficult question. Yeah, now that you think about it, it is.
Man, I'm a sucker for just really highlighting Black love. Just love in general. Fuck black, fuck white, fuck, just it's love. You feel me? Like we see it oftentimes in entertainment where a lot of people, they publicize their relationship, but it's just the good. And the thing that I've always respected about you guys is you guys show the real, whether it's uncomfortable, whether it's very critical, whether it's a social experiment, social event, or a current event, I'm sorry. And you guys are able to find a lesson in any situation.
Absolutely.
And I respect that.
Because there's no losses. One thing is I've learned that from football. There's no losses, there's only lessons, right? And when you're talking about black love, you have to separate black love from all the other ones because it's revolutionary, right? In this country, they've criminalized the black experience. So you just being Cam, walking around, means that you're never unarmed and you're always a threat because you're black, which means you, with a black woman, is twice the threat.
But I'm gonna stop you, and I don't agree with that to a degree.
Okay.
Because as black people, we set the standard and the relevancy for so many things.
Absolutely.
So it's on one hand, it's like socialized or as a social, kind of experiment, we're one thing, but for a cultural experiment, we set the trends for everything, the way people talk, the way people act, the way people present themselves, the way people just, have this aura about themselves. And yeah, I hear what you're saying on one front, but you also has to mention, like, without, the suave of, the black person, shit, we'll be lost.
Absolutely, but that's why black love is so revolutionary. Because we weren't even allowed to be married.
Right. And
we
it's
came over here in 1619.
It's threatening.
Black people were not allowed to get married. They took the black man out of the home, made black women raise their kids on their own, taught them to fear black men, taught the world to fear black men, and over-sexualized black women. So when you see a black couple, you have to think about 400 years of them using media to create a different picture of who we are. You see what I'm saying? And even though we know who we are, when you see it, you get a chance to be like, wow. Because for example, when we first started sharing, I would get mad, like text messages, DMs from people be like, yo, I've never seen this before. I never seen a black man love on his wife publicly before. And even now, people still think it's fake, right?
Yeah. It's definitely a facade.
We just told a story. We was in the airport, stuck in the airport. She went to go to Bojangles, get some fried chicken.
That's on T-Gates.
Come on
now.
And last time y'all didn't have my coleslaw, so get it together. Thank you.
So we in the airport, and this mad seats, I'm sitting there, I'm exhausted. She comes back for Bojangles. She sits on my lap. Sits on my lap. It's mad space, sits on my lap. So, she's on my lap, I'm grabbing the booty. She feeding me chicken, we talking. Then a woman comes over, older black woman, and says, I gotta be honest. I follow y'all on social media, and I thought everything was fake. But there's no cameras here, and y'all act the same way y'all act on social media. So even for black people, they're not used to seeing this. No, they're not used to seeing it.
Yeah.
So they think that it's disingenuous until they start to realize, like, nah, they just acting how they act.
But you know what, too? We had to be very deliberate about, we knew that in this space, right, if we're showing all of the highlights, because that's what social media tends to be, it just would be unfair to not include some of the real things. And I think those real things, those real issues are problems that we've seen stemming from our grandparents' generation, our parents' generation. These are things that we just no longer wanted to just fall into that hamster wheel of this is just how marriage is. It's not desirable, marriage in general. Men, for example, are going to be like, good luck if you're getting married. What happens when your homie say he about to get married or somebody's about to get married? You never like, wow, that's awesome. How do you plan on, thriving in this marriage?
What you doing for the bachelor party?
Exactly.
How you going out?
No, exactly. How you going out? Because life is over. So we just felt like we'd be remiss if we didn't show some of that. And it kind of almost, I want to say accidentally happened because we weren't necessarily on a pursuit to be this ideal family. It just kind of happened with the videos showing things in jest, problems that we were having that I think were universal problems. It was just nice to see it in a comedic space because people are easily able to digest it that way, So it worked out.
Man, I have a slew of different topics that to hit on, but before we get into that, I would do you guys a disservice without highlighting what you guys got going on. You just came out with a book. and speak on that as well as the shows that we have, rocking and rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Kay and I started this journey about, I say 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I always wanted to act. I retired from the NFL 2010, was getting the same roles. Gangster roles, guy locked up roles, and my son at 2 watched me. I was on an episode of Power. And he goes, damn, Daddy, you always wear that orange jumpsuit. That shit kind of broke me. Because I was like, damn, here I am perpetuating the same stereotype that I keep saying that I don't want people to see me as. Because I always play a criminal on TV. So I told my wife I was gonna write a sitcom loosely based on my life. For people who don't know, in 2008, I was supposed to make the roster as a Detroit Lions punt returner, kick returner. They decided to keep 4 wide receivers. I had all my money invested in the stock market and property. Then I get cut. And then the recession happens.
Oh no.
Yeah, so you
No.
you already know. You go from making all of this money at one time to not making any money, and then the recession happens and my money's tied up in real estate and investments, so I'm losing money. I'm just not liquid.
Right.
So we ended up having to move back to Brooklyn with close to nothing. And I felt like, dang, this is a real story, but it also sounds like a Hollywood story. Like the NFL player, has to retire and move back to Brooklyn. I was pitching this, and all the producers kept saying, it's too wholesome.
Yeah.
No one wants
Too
to
honest.
see that. Yeah, no one wants to see that. So I was just like, fuck it. I'm gonna do it myself. I had 15 seconds. This is when iPhone,
Instagram.
Instagram was only
Instagram,
15-second
15
videos.
second reel.
That's how it started, yeah.
So I started making 15-second clips of me and my wife and our kids, and it started to grow. Then Instagram turned to 60 seconds, and I was like, this is all I need.
Yeah.
And I put on my profile, my name is Devale, I'm a kid from Brooklyn. I'm about to change my life with 60 seconds in the iPhone. And I started to, all of the stuff that I wrote for the script, she and I would act out in them 60 seconds, and it just went through the roof. Then the kids became involved as Jackson started to talk more, and then Cairo became involved. And it just blew up into something that we didn't expect it to be. I just wanted to show producers that people wanted to see the content. But then monetization started to happen on social media. Brand partnerships started to come. So I was like, this is a whole business in itself. Then the businessman in me was just like, well, fuck selling my idea to a studio if I can make 5 times more money from my phone.
Right.
So hired a staff of people. We started shooting our own content, and then the podcast came about. Won the Webby Award for the podcast, and the book deal came about. And that's typically how it goes. You go a podcast, book deal, TV deal, movie deal. So right now we're in the process of building a conglomerate to be able to do all those things. The name of the book is called We Over Me.
Okay.
The counterintuitive approach to getting the relationship you want with the one that you love.
That's a fact. Now, I will say, Cam, I was not sold in the very beginning before
At
we go
all.
any further.
At all.
I was not
At all.
sold. I did not want
I know
people
you
in
gonna
my
like this part.
business.
She's not like
I
you,
did not
bro.
want myself on Front Street. Devale was like, there's an authenticity though, but when you wake up in the morning, you still have your bonnet on and a crust in your eye. People want to see that because that's
And that
real.
breath humming.
You know what I mean? They can feel it through the
Mad
phone.
jokes about that.
That's
Man,
what-
because they just like, we
Back
know,
down,
we
Gina.
know, right? So I was just like, no, I'm not signed up for this. Because then also too, the mama bear in me kicks in. I'm like, oh, you want my kids to be a part of the show and dance too? Absolutely not.
Right.
And it was cute when you have 300 followers,
Yeah,
3,000
in the
followers.
beginning, she
In
was
the
like, oh,
beginning,
it's
I'm
cute.
like, oh, okay, whatever. You
These
know.
are my people
This
that
is
I
friends
know.
and
Yes.
family.
I'm serious like that,
Yes.
girl.
Yes.
Hey, Patrice. Hey, hello, heifer. Hey, look. Hey, listen.
Facts.
You know.
I called you. You didn't hit me back, but you like in my picture.
But you like in my photo. You're
Exactly.
right.
That's what it was.
That's exactly what it was. And then a couple videos went viral, and then it went from 3,000 to 300,000, and then I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. But then simultaneously, the bags were rolling in. So I was convinced. I said, let me do my part.
It's
What
starting to
about it?
make sense. And
Yeah.
I'm talking about sense with a C, not an S.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sense.
I was like, what my script say today? What video we got? All right.
Nah, baby. Nah,
Yes.
that's bullshit on page 3 right there. Nah, I think I need to give a little bit more Maybe I'll cry.
Everything.
That was
everything,
it.
Cam.
Literally.
Everything. I used to write everything in the beginning, and then she would just say whatever, like whatever. Then it started to be like, I would never say this like this.
Right.
I'm like, oh, so you have critiques of the
Yeah.
script
I sure
now.
as hell do. Then it
So
became
now-
improv for us. So we were
And
just
then it was
like, all
improv,
right.
man.
So
now
this is TikTok before TikTok,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? And that's revolutionary right there. You know what I mean? Where we are right now, and I told you, off camera that I really appreciate the vulnerableness that you guys kind of go about it. You highlight everything.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, whether you know about my situation or don't know about my situation, we're all are public figures. You know how much you make, you know how much you gon' make, you know how much your partner make, you know what your partner doing, you know who your partner screwing, you know, I mean, you just look on any type of blog site,
you can see
they want the tea.
Yeah, that's all they want.
You dig what I'm saying?
If they can't get it, they're gonna make it up.
They gonna make it up.
Yeah.
And we're in a society now where you're not innocent until proven guilty. You guilty until proven innocent. And even when you prove your innocence, you still got some type of conspiracy theorists like,
Absolutely, yeah.
what Khadeen down there doing with Cam?
Yeah.
What they doing?
You're right.
That is right.
Just, you mean to tell me she doing a podcast at 11 a.m.? She ain't got, like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You're right.
And it infiltrates your mind to just be like, hold on, wait, what? She texted me, she called me, and she FaceTimed me, but there was like a 10-second or 10-minute grace period.
The 10 seconds, that's when it happened.
You know what I mean? It happened.
The 10 seconds, that's when it happened.
It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even when you clear your name, the energy that was spent in dragging your name through the mud
It ain't
is
the
not
same.
spent
It ain't the same.
with giving you
But,
some reprieve. So
But this is how I've reconciled this, right? 99% of the world's wealth is controlled by 1% of the population, right? That's a fact, right? So most people living in today's life is not happy with where they are financially or socially. Most people have to work in order to make ends meet, and most people are living somewhere slightly above to on the poverty line. When you live life like that, and you're thinking about the marginalized people, right? So the people who support us, for example, Black culture supports us, right? Black culture has been marginalized since its inception in 1619. So a lot of people are upset. If you learn to have empathy for people who don't get to live the type of life they want to live, you start to understand where the comments come from, where them looking for the tea. Because if you're not happy with your life, you don't want to see someone else just being happy with their life.
Right.
Sometimes it's easier to just hope that everything ain't as sweet as it seems. So they can't wait for something bad to happen. And I've learned to have empathy for people. You know, it's like their comments or the things they create are just a projection of what they're going through. It really got nothing to do with me. These people don't know me. So whatever they say don't matter to me.
Right.
So it's like I've learned to reconcile because I'm like, man, I pray that everyone's able to find the type of peace that I found with my lady, with my life, with my kids. And if they can't, you know, I'm gonna pray that they find it. But I ain't gonna spend no energy trying to think about, you know what I'm saying, how can I change everybody's ideas of who I am.
Oh, bullshit.
Nah, bro, I'm
So
telling
you mean to tell me them fingers ain't itching when y'all post something and they be like, oh man, Khadeen, that shit up front.
That's
like,
it.
girl.
that'd be
like,
me.
That's
I'll be
it.
ready to
The
have
clapback
it.
shit, clapback queen.
Have it.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm ready.
Sound, hold on. Hey, Resbution 1919, baby. Your page private for a reason. It should stay there. Keep your little comment to
Ken,
yourself.
I ain't gonna lie to you. We do have those
I have
conversations.
moments, yes.
And we do have those conversations. But I have to also understand, like, everybody just not gonna be happy for me.
No, he really has become like
I'm
the
like-
person to be like, Khadeen, like, don't even waste your energy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, but just I have time today. Just one. Just one time.
I mean,
Just
I'm
one
coming
time.
back
Or
from
one
dropping
block.
the kids off and
Just one block. You know, I'm sitting in the car in the carpool line.
Look,
I got a
look.
little time, you know, and he always is encouraging me, like, just
No.
don't even do
Ooh.
it. And he doesn't. And you know what we also have? We have a crew of people. Like, you know how
Yes.
Beyonce got her hive?
You gotta hide.
We have a crew of supporters that
What they call? What they call?
we need
haven't
to
even
name
We haven't
them.
named them. We should name
We
them.
should name them. Those who support us.
Ellis.
We gotta name.
It has to be something.
Them snakes. They go. Them Ellis.
What Rihanna got? Rihanna got the Navy.
She got the. Is
She
it
got the Navy.
Okay.
Beyonce got the Hive. We gotta come up with something.
We got to come up with something.
What's
It'll come to-
y'all? You know how they got like you know, the collab. What's y'all name?
Like Kim
What's
Ye?
y'all? Yeah.
Like Kim Ye, but I don't even. We don't even have a name.
Yeah,
like
no
that.
one's ever
Because it would
really
be kind
like
of corny if it was like
hashtagged this.
Caval.
Caval. That's the only thing I can think of that would make sense, right? Caval.
Yeah, but they just call us
The V.
Ellis's because we married.
Yeah, the Ellises.
That's just it.
Yeah.
But you are right though. I'm not gonna say that it don't sometimes be like, damn, like it hit. I just make choices not
also
to get
too-
involved in it.
Yeah, and Devale has kind of explained it to me this way, which makes a lot of sense. When you put something out there, whether it's a post, a video, whatever, you have to be open to and understand that people have the right
Right.
to comment.
Thank
They're
you.
like social media was created off of a algorithm to give people freedom of speech.
Yes.
That's it.
And once they
And they
voice
gonna
that, you can
exercise it.
empathize with them and say, like, listen, bro, you can feel however you want to
That's
feel.
it.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Now, some people got more of the nonsense and than others. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Cam, now, I know you feel me. You was #1 overall pick, won a national championship, probably one of the greatest seasons in 2015. But your whole career, people always doubted you.
Right.
You did not have the time or energy to respond to every negative comment.
Listen
you
here.
You found a way.
Hey, this is where you zoom in, camera guy.
You found a way.
I don't give a fuck.
You see what I'm saying?
And I always walked into that presence of like, bro, I really don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, it's almost so like that's my superpower.
So then there you go.
You see what I'm saying? I've always my rapport speaks to like, bruh, he can't give a fuck. Look at what he got on. He can't give a fuck.
I ain't gonna lie.
Look what he said.
I ain't gonna lie.
You know what I'm saying? If that ain't no damn example, like, bro, I don't, man, listen, it's just me dancing all alone in this damn, and bro, I feel like that's, like I said, my superpower. Like, I don't have a problem with not giving a fuck. And if I had an eHarmony account, and I love asking this question, what would be the thing that makes you different than the next person? And I said, my gift is my curse. It's like, I'm so easily attached, but as easier detached. You know what I'm saying?
So when you're done, you're done.
Oh,
you're off.
It's like, it's I mean, in a split second.
I knew you couldn't give a fuck. You 6'5". I seen you one day. You had on an ascot, a hat. You ain't have no facial hair. You had on some super tight pants. And you walked in the press conference like, this is me. I said, this nigga can't really don't give a fuck. I ain't never seen a nigga 6'5" with tight pants on an ascot. From Atlanta, me too. I was like, you just don't care.
But see, the thing is, people get this shit twisted because they say, man, you know, the motherfucker from Atlanta. Listen, you play that silly shit if you want to, you're gonna get slapped. Like, real shit. Like, I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, I'm very secure in my sexuality. I'm very secure as a human being. I'm very secure as, you know, a person that I am. But at the same time, you come play some silly shit around me, bro. I'm the true definition of an alpha male.
So let me ask you a question then.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that description. Because I feel like I'm the same way. That's why when you say to me, how could I look at the comments and really not? Bro, when you know you walking in your purpose and you have value outside of what people try to put your value on, you have to ignore that.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why when it's come to sharing, I know my value. You can take it or leave it. If you hate it, you hate it.
My question to you guys is, you know, what this is, I don't know if this has ever been done. Let's just call it a spade, right? Because even half of the people, or more than half of the people that you guys said were the couple of the culture, you don't hear shit about Beyonce outside of that album. Jay-Z doesn't even have social media. And heaven forbid if everything is edited from the Obamas, that doesn't make them bad or worse. But it's like,
it's curated.
How do you protect, you know, just the brand? You feel me? Because this is my question. You being who you are, being a person that's married, does that affect the people who you hang around with? And like for both parts, it's like, where you going? Oh, I'm going to Cam house. Cam. No, I don't like him. You know, he know I don't like him. And matter of fact, you ain't going no more. You got these boys that, you know, like, does he have people that you are in question of, or does she have people that you're in question of? Because it goes both ways.
You can answer that.
I don't, I mean, I will say, I know there's a bro code, so I'm sure whatever happens with the homies stays with
Absolutely.
you and the homies. But at the same time, too, I think that I know Devale is a person who's not easily influenced by anybody else. This man is his own self.
Always been.
And he moves in his own purpose and he moves in his own manner. And not even I can sometimes convince him to do things differently if he's dead set on a particular way. So, I mean, you do have your friends that are single, you have your friends that are married, you have your friends that are in situationships, and, you know, on the in-between, but it never really affects how I see him or me giving him, quote unquote, permission to do something. Like, have you ever heard the term allowing, like your spouse allowing you to do something? And the word allow tends to just make people—
It's a trigger.
It's a trigger. It's very triggering.
And we never allow each other to do anything because we're both individuals and we treat each other as such. So he's able to and fully able to do anything that he wants to do. The respect component comes in by running it by me.
But it's the same question.
Yeah, she can do what she want to do. I don't have no problem with none of her friends, single, married. It doesn't matter to me. I got to give people choices. You have a choice to make, to decide what you want to do.
Right.
I can't create your choices and then feel like it's honest if you're here.
Yeah.
I want you to wake up every morning and want to be here because you want to be here. If I start making rules and saying don't do this and do that, then I feel like I got a pet.
Right.
I don't want a pet. I want a companion.
Did you come from this? Are your parents still together?
Yeah, both of my parents
Yeah,
are
our
together.
parents
Our
are still together.
Okay.
Yes.
As in,
Do you
like,
think that played a intricate piece of why you guys are still together?
I'll say this. Watching my parents, watching her parents, there were parts of that marriage that we both said we don't want to be like them.
Okay.
So this is the interesting part. People think that if you grow up in a household with both your parents, you see marital bliss. Kids see everything.
Right.
Kids hear everything.
More than what they acknowledge to.
Absolutely.
sure.
And
For sure.
I grew up, there were times I was just like, man, I ain't never get married. Based on, the things you hear. When your parents are going through financial issues, they're going through stuff and they don't think the kids are listening, they screaming at each other or they going back and forth. You're like, why would I ever?
Woman!
Yeah, shut the, yo, for real, it's like, why would I sign up for this?
Right.
Yeah. And then your parents, you are the first person your parents vent to when you become an adult.
Right.
So I grew up and she did the same thing. She grew up the same way. You
Role
get to be
reversal.
about 17, 18, then your mom is like, oh, you know your father. And it's like nag, nag, nag. Then your pops come, you know how your mom is and it's nag, nag. It's like, man, I ain't gonna never wanna live like this. So I made choices with my marriage to not be like that. And she did the same thing.
Yeah, people like to throw around the term, generational trauma and curses and things like that. Seeing, for example, my parents growing up over the years, there was a very clear, because I'm the oldest of three, a very clear transition with which they went from being this couple who I idolized and was just like, wow, I can't wait to one day have this, to then eventually become, how did y'all even end up together?
Yeah.
Like, they say opposites attract, but this shit right here ain't it.
This ain't healthy.
And as an adult, I had even said to them at one point, like, y'all sure you don't want to just like call it quits and just get a divorce and you go there and you go there. That way I'm not getting.
Fuck it,
both
I'm gonna
of
pull
y'all
the
in
cord, my
hair.
goddamn.
Listen,
There was times she was like,
and just over it,
almost
because
in
then
tears, like, I
it
can't
became a
watch
burden for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not taking a side saying mom is right or dad's right. It was just like both of y'all are doing some fucked up shit, and both of y'all have points.
Right.
So as an adult and as a human, I've learned to give my parents some grace, but in the same breath, being like, Devale, bro, this communication thing that my parents and my family never does, that can never be a thing for us.
Yeah.
I don't know how to communicate effectively, and I had to be honest with him about that over the years, and it's something I'm still unpacking and still working on, how to effectively communicate myself when taking some of the emotion out of it and not just flying off the handle and being emotional because I want to be and I don't know how to express myself. It's something we're still working on to this day, and it's something my parents never exercised or encouraged. So those are the things that we're working on as a married couple within our marriage, and then also with our children. Like, we're not just saying do as I say, not as I do, or you because you're 4 or 5 or 6 years old, you don't have the right to express yourself. Those are things that we take very seriously now.
There's two things that I really want to highlight that you guys just covered. Number one, I believe in this, right? I believe that love is not bondage. Love is not control.
That's facts.
Love is not shackles. Love is not imprisonment. Love is freedom. Love is
freedom.
Yes.
Like, this works so seamless in our relationship that I'm filling your cup up, you're filling my cup up, and I want to do that. You don't got no gun in my head. Fill my cup up, motherfucker.
No, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
For real.
But at the same time, I say where you guys come from is important, because the biggest situation or the issue that I have with people that say, man, I'm looking for Mr. Right, you ain't it, so good night. You dig? No, it's more or less like, okay, babe, let's just keep it a buck. You want to find your, Prince Charming, but your parents weren't together. That's not an issue. The issue is you don't surround yourself with the health of knowing, as an example, to see what is it like to be in a healthy relationship or a working relationship. And when people aren't in that environment where it's like, okay, cool, I'm married, I got married friends and I got single friends. But my married friends, I'm able to cope with them to say, man, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. Me and Devale, we going through some shit right now. And to respect what we're going through, like, girl, tell me, like, get me over the mountain, girl, because that's needed. Because as a dude, I ain't gonna sit up here and lie, right? I have 5 figures in my life that are married that if they fuck up, it's gonna crush me, right? And I got more individuals that live this life of like, bruh, where you at? And it's like, what Mike Epps said, that nigga don't act like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, if you hang around single bachelors as a married man, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Because eventually, you're going to be in a situation where y'all don't see eye to eye. And that person that you're coping with can't even cope with what you got going on. And a lot of times we take advice from people that aren't even credible.
I'll challenge that a little bit, right? One of my close friends, I used to vent to her all the time, is my boy Dolo. Dolo's not married. He's engaged now.
Right.
But Dolo's never been, he used to be the guy, I'm never getting married. He was the guy that go on trips, guy trips, be gone for weeks. He's an entrepreneur, makes his own money, right? But when I used to hit up Dolo and be like, man, I'm going to this, he's the one that used to be like, hey, you need to calm down. Like, you got a good woman. He's the one that'll speak life and power into me and kind of talk me off the edge. Because we've been together since 18. That ain't no easy road.
No.
Like 18, there was a time between 18 and 25 where I was a motherfucker. I talk about this all the time, right? My ego was huge. I was also very insecure because I was a walk-on in college. I was a free agent tryout in the NFL. I always felt like I had to prove. Which means I always had to walk in with my bravado and my ego first. That was a detriment to my relationship because everything I did outside in the world, I took it home because that's who you become. Right. It wasn't until we had our second son, Cairo, that I started to realize, like, I got to change my behavior if I really want to elevate. And I'm not even talking about elevate financially. I just meant elevate as a person. Bro. You spend so much time dealing with bullshit and trying to be who everyone else is telling you should be that you don't even like who you become once you become that. And then I started to look around my friends and realize, like, I know there's certain people here who got my best interests. Whether they married or not, divorced, single, I'm going to talk to them. The other people, they my friends, but if I'm going through something,
this ain't the best.
I'm not
this ain't
talking
the best
to you.
legal counsel.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you not the one. I'm not. Nah.
This ain't Johnny Cochran.
Right.
Nim.
Right. This is some cockbush bullshit.
You know what I'm saying?
But and you have to have discernment as a man.
Right.
As a man, you know who you can listen to and who you can't. You
The same goes for women, because you know your friends who are just glutton for punishment and they are in misery and they just want you to be in misery as well. And then you have to reassess, is this person even a friend or not?
Right.
But with Devale and I think the big shift happened for us in our relationship is like the patriarchy tells you what you should expect from a marriage, what you should be as a wife, what you should be as a husband. And this is stuff that we unpack more in our book. Just really trying to like think about the figures we had around us. You spoke about our parents, for example, who have been whatever kind of example they were to us in marriage. Then you have this idea of like, well, as a wife, I should be doing these things. As a husband, he should be doing these things. Well, we never consult each other who's in the marriage on what exactly the needs are that should be met. And it wasn't until Devale and I literally made the choice. And he started this and I followed suit because I realized how much more it assisted me in my mentality when it came to marriage and choice. He said, Kay, do you know that when I wake up in the morning, before I do anything, after giving thanks to God for another day, I say to myself, how can I make this day easier or better for Khadeen? And when he told me that, I was almost in tears because I'm like, shit. When I wake up, it's just like,
I asked her, I said, you think the same for me?
And I was like, I don't. I think about deadlines that need to be met. I'm checking my calendar, you know, who needs what deadline to be met, you know, what kid has what appointment, and who's on the bottom of that totem pole. The one person who sole purpose is to make sure and deserves to make sure that, you know, I should be making sure that he's okay. So when he told me that, I was like almost in tears and I was like, I cannot believe that for so many years, I'm thinking I'm doing all the things and I'm juggling, but I'm constantly asking him to understand. You should understand because you see I'm stressed. You should understand because you see I'm pregnant. You should understand because you see I'm busy. But at the same time, I was like, when are you, Khadeen, gonna now clock out of that and clock into your husband? And that's when things became astronomically better for us.
That's crazy, and that's a big gem right there. I think where as a society we kind of get, and I made the mistake, and I I use that not as a scar, but as a start to use my platform to acknowledge that I made a mistake, right? And I spoke on, women and men empowerment, right? And my question goes off of what I said. I spoke on this speaking about women and bad bitches and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, well, we don't need this and we don't need that. And that was completely, I didn't get to explain what I really meant. I've explained it multiple times and I'm gonna explain it again. It's like, it's not necessarily that I meant that we need more women or more bad bitches. It's more or less like, we gotta be better for our partners.
Absolutely.
And if it takes the man to shut the fuck up and listen to your woman because you got a rider with you, bro, shut the fuck up, bro. Put your ego in your back pocket, bro, and keep that motherfucker there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then as a woman, it's like, bro, like, I can't fight the world and then come home and fight you too. Like that's warfare. You see what I'm saying? So my question is, understanding that, how do you guys balance the difference between submissive and aggressive? You know what I mean?
So there's always a power dynamic in every relationship. And I talked about history before, right? If you understand the history of our culture, you'll understand how the power dynamic has put the black woman always at the bottom, right? There's always white supremacy, then everybody else. But then you got the patriarchy, so it's male supremacy, then everybody else. So if you're a black woman, you're at the bottom. So you have to understand where that quote unquote aggression, even though it's not aggression, because most black women have left to fend for themselves, right? I still feel though, as the man, I am the leader of my household, right? But as the leader, that doesn't mean that I just tell everybody what to do. My first responsibility as the leader is to make sure everyone is okay, right? So I have to be of service to my wife. You see what I'm saying? When you say things like that, I have to be of service to my wife, the trigger word for people is like, oh, he wants to serve his wife, he's a simp. And then you have all the detractors who call you a simp because you, as a leader, want to serve your wife, right? Then as a woman, if she says, no, I want to serve my husband, they tell her she's submissive and you're setting women back. In our relationship, and it only works in ours because we've agreed to these power dynamics, I'm the man, I'm the head of the household, I lead. We both make a lot of money. I pay all the bills in the house.
Subtle flex.
Right, it's subtle flex. But because I did make a post, I said, I realized the greatest flex I could ever have is when my wife is kept, but she keeps making money. You see what I'm saying? As the leader, when we both make money, I take care of the family, I take care of our wealth planning, I take care of our legacy building. Whatever money she makes is hers. She can do whatever she wants to do with it. So is she really being submissive and being controlled? No, because she has the opportunity, if she wants to go somewhere else. But me being a leader and being in that position of power is giving her an opportunity to live in a life in a world with full autonomy. She don't have to depend on anybody else, not even me.
Or desire anything from somebody else.
So when she don't gotta live like that and she can just do whatever she wants, but she still wants to be my wife, that makes me feel good.
I think people also mistake submission with stifling. It doesn't mean that you have to be stifled in your relationship if you decide that you want to submit to your man. I will say, I submit to my husband because why? He's proven time and time again that I can trust in his leadership, that he empowers me as a woman to do whatever it is I seek out to do.
Talk about it, baby. Talk about
These things make it easy for me to be like, go ahead, baby. It's you. I'm here to just, you got the idea, how we gonna execute it? And that's usually how we work. Devale's mind goes a million miles a minute, and he's always coming with a new idea, a new approach, a new business. And I'm just like, cool, how we gonna make it happen? It's easy to sit back and be like, yo, I can depend on this man because I know he's a man of his word, and not only of his word, of his action. And in moments when he and I are having a struggle where it's like, damn, Kay, how do you feel about this? If it's something that I don't care too much about, I just digress. I'm like, bro, it's on you. We tap into each other's strengths as well. Like, we know when we have to kind of, you're better equipped to do that, Devale, you do it, okay? You're better equipped to do it, you do it. And it's not like a gender role thing. It's not like this is what husbands or wives do.
It just feels natural.
It feels natural.
My last thing for me is really simple. Have you guys ever discussed or went over, or do you know each other's non-negotiables?
For us, that's a difficult one because we're big on grace. We're big on grace, and we're also big on not drawing lines in sands, because if there's anything that we talk about the most is having empathy for each other.
But it's still the thing where this non-negotiables isn't, it's a triggering word, but we've always, I'm not sure what you guys' religion or faith is, but me being a Christian, there was always a non-negotiable from day one, right? The forbidden fruit. You dig what I'm saying? And I think as relationships, and I'm in a relationship now, proud, and I think the thing that always gives me grace and knowing is like, what is my partner's non-negotiable? Because if I tap into that apple and I bite into it, yeah, can I get away with it? But over time, it's like, that's gonna be a burden on my heart.
But let me ask you a question. God presents non-negotiables, but he always allows latitude for forgiveness, right? If God, the greatest creator of all, can find in his heart to forgive people, how can we as people say, there's nothing you can do that I can't forgive you for?
Oh, you're talking to a person, and I'll say this, there's nothing in life, including death, that's not forgivable.
You see what I'm saying?
Over time.
Over time.
It's gonna take time. Now, if you kill my mom, I'm not about to sit up here and be kumbaya with you the next day. But over time, I realized that I have to find peace in the situation and say, you know what, her time here is done. And I'm not saying that, and let me, be very clear about that. But it takes people different times to grieve. And if you're going with this mole or this ulcer on your heart, just like, man, fuck Khadeen, that motherfucker got my motherfucking brother killed. Like, no, let's relax. Now, if you have to go through that, you got to give yourself some time and say, listen, okay, let's get rid of this and let me find ways to move forward with that. Because if you can't operate off love, if you're looking in search of revenge.
I feel you. But that to me is why a non-negotiable for us, I feel like, or for me at least, doesn't exist. I need to understand why you made the choices, right? So if we can have a conversation and we can come to terms with, okay, you made this choice because of X, Y, Z. Can I empathize with that choice?
Yes.
If I can empathize with that choice, then let's discuss it and see if we can move past it. I feel like I can't sit up here on a pedestal, and I don't feel like my wife can sit on any pedestal as well and look down on either one of us and say, if you do this, this is wrong.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, I'm always gonna make choices that's gonna benefit the couple.
Not to say it's wrong or not to say that it's over with, just to understand that if you do that, be prepared to face what it comes with. And I don't think a lot of men, because, I mean, listen, being in my position, bro, I've always had access.
Oh, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course, absolutely.
And that could be, that's a very broad thing.
Of course.
And like for me, I had to really kind of rev back and say, bro, hold on, bro. You're kind of feeling yourself a little too much. Put yourself in her shoes. She say yes because that's who she is naturally. But what is it coming with?
Right, absolutely.
Does it come with you're doing something and when you say you're with this person, she'll approve you going with that person, but in the back of her mind, she's thinking every time you're with that person, this is what she really thinks.
Right, I feel
you know what I'm saying? And it's not, that is not, it's too expensive. You know what I'm saying?
When
you
it
do
requires
those,
so much more energy
Yeah,
to have to
it
exist
does.
in a space like that. I think I do have one like non-negotiable though.
Go ahead.
I told her, I was like, if he had a child outside of our marriage or our relationship,
Yeah, she said she
it's a
wouldn't
wrap.
she couldn't live with
I
it.
could put that on tape.
Yeah, but listen, and I'll say this, and like, we keeping it funky. I did that. I did that, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm not ashamed of it. I think it really exposed the real in the situation. And granted, people were hurt. I hurt people, and I was hurt. So the whole cliche thing is hurt people, hurt people.
Right.
So in that phase of my life, I was so egotistical, where it was like.
But Cam, you can't shame yourself.
No.
Making choices.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It made me. I am who I am because of that situation.
Absolutely.
I'm at peace.
And you
know what I'm saying? I look at both of my baby mothers and know that each child was made out of love, and they still have love that they see every single day, whether I'm with their mother or not. You know what I'm saying? And as I grow into my own situation, I'm prepared for them to grow in their own situation too. That's just a respect thing. You feel me? I understand that in my time, it's like, bro, you don't got jurisdiction over there no more.
You don't.
Right.
That's
Your
just
jurisdiction
what it
is with your children.
That's
you know who she
absolutely
talks to, who she deal with, bro. Like, bro, I don't. It's not bringing me peace. So yeah, I made that situation, and coming from a person who did, I apologize more ways than one, and I still take every opportunity to say, man, listen, I was not healed. And it took me going through that to heal and say, like, listen, bro, Bug, you got to focus on Bug. You know what I'm saying? Because you keep going and
That's
you
the key,
doing
though, bro.
certain things.
What
like,
you just said is the key. We talk about this all the time. the more I focused on myself, I became a better husband. The more she focused on Khadeen, she became a better wife. And then we made the choice to be better together, right? Yeah. The biggest thing is about choices. When people typically speak about the members of the opposite sex that they deal with, they don't realize that they keep dating the same type of person in different forms, right? Then they cast a wide net over everybody, right? One of my boys, all these bitches is money hungry. Dude. You go to the same club and meet the same women at the same time at the same club, but then you say, "Oh, bitches, how about you try something different?" Yeah. And it's the same thing for women.
That's insanity.
You meet the same guys doing the same things, and then when they treat you or dog you out, you say, "All niggas ain't shit." That's not the case. The niggas you choose and that's the truth. And for us, we're able to speak the way we speak because I feel like I chose the right person for me. I could sit up here and say all of this stuff, and if I would have chose the wrong person, then I'd have been up here talking about bitches ain't shit. Hello. So it really depends on who you choose and if you want to be married. I wanted to be married and I wanted to be monogamous. I tried the juggling shit. It didn't work. My mind was all over trying to chase and do all this other stuff. I couldn't focus on the things that were making me happy and at peace. So I was like, why am I doing this? Some people are good at that. Right. I got boys who can balance and are freaking great at what they do.
It's a balancing beam.
And but the thing is, they're great at that. That's the life they should live. Right. Because that makes them happy. As long as he or she is honest with all the people they're dealing with, that's just not my walk. That's
I give
not
props
walk,
to people who know, like, marriage is not for me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So you save a lot of people a lot of misery as long as you're honest.
Facts.
And be like, yo, that's not something I aspire towards. And I feel like you have to aspire towards marriage and want that for it to work, because if not, and you're relying on someone to come along and be like, I don't really want to marry, but you would make me want to get married. Absolutely not. Yeah. Because then that puts the onus on that person. Yeah. What if that person changes?
Which they will. Oh.
And marriage is a choice like veganism, right? You don't have to be married in life. People make it seem like, oh, if you don't get married, you fail.
Correct. Everybody in the Bible was not. Everybody in the Quran or any great book. That everybody wasn't married. Facts. So let's stop that. And then for people who are married, bro, stop looking down at people who ain't married.
Right.
And people who ain't married, stop looking down at people who are married. Like, bro, whatever your Cinderella shoe is built for you, Cinderella.
Facts.
That's not Cam's shoe. That's not Khadeen's shoe. That's not Devale's shoe. Like, them motherfuckers is they shoe. Like, get the fuck. All right. I
agree. I see. But no, I know, because seeing how you live your life, it takes a different type of person to live this and be like, why are people judging me for being who I am? Yeah. That's why you get so passionate about it. Because most people follow because conditioning is easy. It's easy for me to walk the line with everybody else, fall in line and just be accepted. Right. It's easy to do that. But is it making you happy to be accepted? No. Sometimes you just want to step out and do your own thing, but every time you step away from the crowd, you get judged. Yeah. And you just have to be willing to be judged and say, I'm gonna do shit my way. And if you can find someone that you want to step aside from the crowd with, like I did, we laugh and joke about it. Like
it's a beautiful thing. I call sand to the beach because my beach is better.
Facts. Period. My beach is better. I walk places and my wife walk in, I'll be like, look, niggas checking out my wife. You know what I'm saying? Then I walk in, I be like, that's mine.
Hey, what Kodak say? That's my little shit.
That's mine. You know what I'm saying? That's mine. You know what I'm saying?
Vice versa.
Man, listen, at the end of the day, man, appreciate your time, appreciate everything. And as we end everything and every episode in Funky Friday, we're gonna start and we're gonna do this in unison. Start with that camera, then we're gonna go to this camera, and then we're gonna finish with our camera right here. We're gonna do one finger, one pinky, one thumb, one love. You did. Yes!
We gotta come back, King.
Yes.
I feel like we barely scratched.
I'm telling you, bro.
That's mad stuff to talk about.
But I knew. Like, I operate on a high thing. Like, I protect my peace. I always try to protect my peace. And I knew when talent was like, okay, we got a potential to get Devale and Khadeen. I said, what, for real? Man, make that shit happen. Because I know, like, bro, the energy that it's not like you guys are in a structured environment, but think openly. Yeah. And I know that like that's how I am. You know, I try not to judge. I always pride myself on not judging. And when you're in that atmosphere with other people, that's just like, okay, well, we do it like this, but how you do it, cool. Yeah. And really, shit, bring y'all ass on to Boogieville, USA on Friday.
Nah, we with it.
Yeah, so
I told Kay before when I went to Sip and Smoke, I was like, man, nigga Cam, cool. Like we had a good conversation. And even that was short.
Yeah.
Even that was short. So this is something we gotta do, bro.
Yeah.
This is dope. And yo, all of this
It's needed though.
Thanks for having
is
us.
fire.
It's needed.